Julie Love had everything to live for. A successful aerobics instructor, she was pretty, loved her job, and planned to marry. But on July 11th, 1988, she disappeared. Her car was found 2 days later. Posters were printed. A rally was held, but still no sign of Julie. A whole town looking for the solution to the perfect crime. Where is Julie Love? Rock Hudson died in a reckless conspiracy of shame, a deadly AIDS game of Russian roulette with the life of Mark Christian. Tonight, the last days of a Hollywood legend who didn't care whom he took with him to the grave. And Mark Christian tells the whole story. European commercials make the ads on our home screens look like public service spots. But watch out, America. Those sexy promos are revved up and headed this way. Hello, everybody. I'm Maury Povich. Welcome to A Current Affair. Julie Love is nowhere to be found. She was a beautiful aerobics instructor in Atlanta, Georgia, and one day, she just vanished from the face of the earth. The perfect crime? Our producer, Mike Squadron, went to Atlanta, where the whole town is still trying to find an answer months later.
You know, I mean, she's on top of the world at this point. She's feeling good about herself and good about her life and excited about the future.
It was all coming together for Julie Love last summer, an attractive 27-year-old Southern belle who taught aerobics to children.
I did see her working with the little children. It was just real good, and she enjoyed it, and they loved it.
Just elated with everything that was going on, especially her business. She was very, very proud of that business. It was something that she never had confidence in herself that she could do, and she was very proud of that, and couldn't talk about it enough because she was so proud of something successful that she had done all on her own.
Not only was Julie's new business booming, but it appeared her dream of marriage to longtime boyfriend Mark Kaplan was about to come true.
They had decided that they were going to get married, and they hadn't set any kind of date or anything like that, but Julie looked at me and said, we're going to have to pick out a wedding dress. You know, we're going to have to go shopping, so...
On Monday night, July 11th, Julie Love went to her regular career counseling session at this Atlanta office complex. Tuesday, nobody heard from her. Wednesday, her red Mustang convertible was found in this neighborhood of $500,000 homes. There was no sign of Julie.
I knew something was wrong because Julie always keeps in touch with somebody. And so something was real wrong. So once, I guess that was probably around 2 o'clock Wednesday night, that I started to realize this is something terrible.
Everything to us points out that she is in trouble. And that's why we're trying to stay optimistic, and we're trying to get the word out to whoever has caused this trouble.
And put the word out they did. Posters were printed, newspapers were called. The Julie Love case managed to make its way into the headlines, even though most of the country's media attention was focused on the Democratic convention, which was going on in Atlanta at the same time.
With just seeing it on the news, the phone started ringing. What can we do? Can we help? People would call that we didn't even know, that we didn't know knew Julie, and some of them didn't.
Where is Julie Love? That was the question. Have you seen Julie Love? It was all over. It was all over the city.
They asked on lampposts, on the billboards, on pizza delivery boxes, have you seen Julie Love? Her boyfriend used marketing expertise as owner of the South's largest ice cream franchise to keep the question on the minds of anyone who opened a newspaper or watched TV. Julie had been missing for almost 2 weeks when he organized a rally for her.
Getting more flyers to pass out and having the T-shirts to wear around now, more exposure, and that's what we need. We need national exposure. She could be anywhere.
You still have hope that she's alive?
Oh, absolutely. She's alive. Just whoever has it, just please bring her back.
I don't think that by the end of the rally there was one dry eye in the place. The emotion and the love that was coming out of that rally was just phenomenal.
There are over 65,000 missing person cases filed with the FBI. Few, if any, have received the exposure like Julie Love. With the billboards and the rallies and the posters, surely someone would come forward with information. But 7 months after this young, petite woman with everything to live for disappeared, the question remains the same. Where is Julie Love? And the answer remains the same, too. Nobody knows.
I spent heavy hours. As a matter of fact, I think for the first month, I probably worked maybe 50 or 60 hours above my regular 8-hour schedule. And yes, it has confounded me and it has confused me, and I'm still trying to locate her.
Investigator C.D. Porter has spent 7 months trying to answer the question of where is Julie Love? From the beginning, the case has stood apart. So much attention, so much love for a woman who for now is apparently the victim of the perfect crime.
I'm really shocked, and the police are too. I mean, they expected to at least have something turn up. But so far, there's been absolutely nothing. No trace, no indication.
For Julie's father, Jerry, the last 3 years have been hell. This video shows his wife, Rose, and Julie dancing the night away at a party. But in 1986, Rose died of cancer, and now Julie, his only daughter, is gone. Jerry waits at home in Birmingham, Alabama, with his second wife, Loretta, hoping but not expecting to find out something, sometime.
Well, we can make you a little bitter against the whole world. And you try and pick up the pieces and make life work again, but it's not possible to get back the way you were before this happened.
Everyone who has helped try to find Julie Love has a theory about what happened to her. But the only thing everyone is sure of is Julie didn't disappear on her own. Life was too good for her to walk out now.
Would you? A woman who talked to me at 2 o'clock in the afternoon about going to look for her wedding dress was not a woman that was ready to walk out on life.
In Atlanta, the "Have you seen Julie Love" signs are fading, but the memories are alive. Where's Julie Love? For her legions of family and friends, rest won't come until that question is answered.
If it takes forever, we'll go after it. And eventually someone that knows something, that saw something, that heard something, and feels guilty for not coming forward will come forward. And it may be in a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, or whenever, but someone knows something. And eventually they're going to, whether it be for moral or for whatever reason, say something.
If anyone has any information about the Julie Love case, please call this number, 1-404-658-6841. Rock Hudson, from fame to infamy, history will record him now as a sinister figure in his last desperate months before he died of AIDS, as a man who knowingly risked giving the fatal disease to his lover, Mark Christian. And Christian will tell us the whole story next. And a little later on A Current Affair, the overseas TV commercials that are all revved up and headed this way.
Can you afford to drive a Buick? So much for so little.
And where were you on the night of the 20th at 11:53 p.m.? Well?
I was at home enjoying a breakfast treat.
A breakfast treat? At midnight?
Stelladoro breakfast treats are delicious anytime.
Do you believe this?
Stelladoro breakfast treats. There's no wrong time to eat them.
These are really yummy. Counselor, why don't you run out and get us some coffee?
What?
Of all the Japanese cars serviced by AMCO dealers, half drive away not needing a new transmission. Luck? Skill. To spot the small problems that look like big ones takes experience, and lots of it. In fact, to find a transmission specialist who's fixed more Japanese cars than AMCO, you'd probably have to take your car all the way to Japan. And they don't offer towing.
AMCO, AA, MCO.
Most of you tune to WOR Radio for complete school and business closings. Some of you don't. WOR Radio, 710 a.m., the talk station.
Lemon Tree Hair Cutters. For early birds, open 8 a.m. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. Sunday. Open late for night owls. You know what you want and where to find it. Lemon Tree Hair Cutters.
The 1989 Honda Civic. To own a car this good, you have to be willing to spend a little less.
If he were alive today, the logical charge against the late screen heartthrob Rock Hudson would be reckless endangerment. With bad luck, he might have found himself up on charges of manslaughter 1, maybe even second-degree murder. Hudson had AIDS, and 3 to 5 times a week, he risked giving it to his lover, Mark Christian. He conspired with associates to keep it a secret. In any man's language, that's the lowest behavior. Mark Christian's lawyer, Harold Roden, is with us tonight. But first, the story of Hudson's infamy.
Gosh, your lips look delicious.
Heather will be there at the door.
Listen to the fireplace roar.
And those magazines can be
I don't care if they're fishes.
Movie idol Rock Hudson kept one deep, dark secret. First, it cost him his life. Now, it's cost him his fortune. More than 3 years after his death in France, the once dashing superstar is paying for his conspiracy of shame to the tune of nearly $22 million. That's how much money has just been awarded to his lover, Mark Christian, who was never told by Hudson or Hudson's secretary that the star had AIDS.
Mr. Rock Hudson has acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which was diagnosed over a year ago in the United States.
This has stopped you from being able to have any kind of a sex life? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I haven't had one, so I don't know about the future.
Mark Christian is the victim of a lifelong charade acted out by Rock Hudson. While he hid from Christian the fact that he had AIDS, he hid from the entire world the fact that he was gay. In the movies, Rock Hudson was the quintessential ladies' man, often playing opposite that all-American girl, Doris Day.
Ma'am, you done did a terrible thing to me.
Oh?
You made me glad I ain't in Texas.
Rock and Doris were more than co-stars. They were close friends. And even after a shocked world learned Rock's terrible secret, Doris stood by him, offering hope and strength in his darkest hour. It was a dark hour for Christian, too. Even though he had been Hudson's live-in lover for 2 years, he was the last to know Hudson had AIDS.
I don't have AIDS now, thank God. But that doesn't mean I won't get it.
Although Christian has never contracted the AIDS virus from Hudson, a jury last week decided that Hudson and his secretary, Mark Miller, were guilty of outrageous conduct for keeping the star's illness a secret.
I ask that you bring in a verdict that will make an example of Miller for the benefit of people you'll never know.
Hudson's estate may appeal the decision, but meanwhile, Christian has years of mental anguish and $21.75 million as a legacy from Rock Hudson.
I wish that Rock had done that. I wish he had let some of his money go to AIDS research.
With us now in Los Angeles is Harold Roden, the lawyer for Mark Christian. Some people across the country, Mr. Roden, are saying $21.7 million. It's a bit much. You think that's an adequate judgment?
Well, a lot of the jurors felt that the verdict they brought in was too low. Several of them wanted a higher verdict. This was a compromise. But everyone is entitled to their own opinion.
Even your client said that's too much money for one person.
I don't think he said it was too much. Maybe he did. I didn't hear everything he said. It is high. There's no question about that. It is a high verdict.
When you take a look at that case, did anyone else know that Rock Hudson had AIDS except his secretary?
Yes. They told the butler.
They told the butler?
Yes.
What do you think this says about Rock Hudson?
I heard your description of his conduct. You called it outrageous. I'd call that, well, you were right, but maybe you were too complimentary. His conduct was despicable, not only because he might have endangered the life of Christian, but if Christian could have spread that disease without knowing he had it, that virus, to other people. They then could have spread it without knowing they had it. And Rock Hudson obviously didn't give a damn.
Do you think that judge will think that verdict excessive and throw it out, or at least reduce it?
Well, I believe he will not throw it out. On the question of whether he'll reduce it or not, a message has been sent all over the world because of the amount of the verdict. Look, if the verdict had come in for $50,000, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. Nobody'd care much.
We might be talking to some of those jurors who might think that it was too little. I mean, 50,000 is a long way from 21 million. Can you hang around for a second, Mr. Roden? We're going to come back to you in a minute. We're going to break for a commercial, and when we come back, we'll have the whole story from the man who did sue Rock Hudson, and he won millions, Mark Christian.
When the competition gets rough, these guys have the guts
Trust me!
to get ruthless.
You gotta get their friendship, get their confidence, get their trust, then get their money.
You son of a... What did he say?
Kurt Russell, Jack Warden, and Grandpa Al Lewis star.
Let's go.
Used Cars, tonight at 8 on Fox 5.
It's the American Leader Celebration at your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer. Now you can get low factory financing or cash back on some of America's best-selling cars and trucks. Get 4.9% financing or up to $750 cash back on Ford Ranger, America's #1 selling compact pickup. Choose 4.9% financing or $500 cash back on Ford Escort, America's #1 selling car. There's cash back on Taurus and select F-Series too, all before you make your best deal during the American Leader Celebration at your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer.
Everyone knows the three famous Foremans of Orchard Street. One for Missies, one for Petites, and one for plus sizes. Each one filled with elegant designer fashions at discount prices. And best of all, Foremans will not be undersold. It's their policy. If you can find a lower price on your Foremans purchase within 10 days, Foremans will refund the difference. You can't go wrong at Foremans. Designer fashions at unbeatable prices. 3 fabulous Foremans. It's really worth the trip.
Everybody's talking about Oat Bran, but nobody said a word about taste until now. Introducing Dunkin' Donuts Oat Bran Muffins. Taste worth talking about.
These people haven't seen Cafe Crown. These people have Cafe Crown. The choice is yours.
For years, Tropicana has made pure premium orange juice with no water added and no water taken away. The way the sun and the rain make it is the way you taste it. So, it's not quite this, but no other major brand comes closer.
Tropicana Pure Premium. You just can't pick a better juice.
At this moment, Mark Christian is $21+ million richer. And when he first filed suit against Rock Hudson's estate, he gave his most detailed account of life with Hudson in the final days and why he felt outraged and victimized. That interview with Christian was done by Network 10 in Australia.
How did you keep your gay relationship out of the public eye?
Well, we didn't go out in public that much, number one. And being in Hollywood, it's a pretty liberal town, and everyone seems to know what goes on, and I don't think it was really that big a deal to most people.
Now, did Rock Hudson have any other sexual relationships with any other young men while he had the relationship with you?
Not that I know of, no.
Now, how did you find out eventually that Rock Hudson had AIDS?
I saw it on television.
He didn't tell you?
No.
But surely you must have suspected something with his weight loss. How did he explain this away?
Well, he would never admit to anything being wrong with him. He kept saying that he was dieting, but I had been told by others around him that it might be anorexia. And I did ask him about the AIDS thing, and he denied it.
He denied it all the time?
All the time, yeah.
Well, what about your sex life now? Are you in a sexual relationship with anybody?
No, I can't be.
Why can't you be?
Well, because I might be contagious. You see, if I have contracted it, even if it's dormant right now, I could still pass it on to somebody else. And as long as there's that possibility, I don't dare.
So when will you know that you haven't got AIDS from Rock Hudson?
4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years.
Are you going to stay celibate all that time?
Well, I have to, unless they come up with a cure or something, or other ways of testing to be a lot more accurate than what we've got now.
All right, let's have a look at the will situation. If you loved Rock Hudson as much as you said you did, and he you, then why were you cut out of his will or not even mentioned?
Well, he didn't put anyone into his will, as far as I know, the last 12 years. His will was written in 1974,
And his only action that I had heard of was to take a close friend of his out of the will. But we never talked about his finances or his properties. This was something that he didn't even like talking about himself. So I had no idea one way or the other.
And how do we, the public, know that Rock Hudson didn't tell you that he had AIDS?
Well, the first 2 times I asked him, it was private between the 2 of us, but I asked him on 2 other occasions in front of 2 other witnesses, and both times he denied it in front of them as well. Also, his cronies around him admitted to me that there had been a cover-up and that they did not tell me because he didn't want them to tell me.
Why the cover-up? Why did they not want him to tell you?
Only they really know that. I don't know.
Now, Rock Hudson went to Paris to be tested for AIDS. Did he explain this to you, that he was going to Paris because of the AIDS situation?
No, never. I was told he was going to a film festival in Deauville, and that he would be meeting Elizabeth Taylor there, and that he'd be there for a few weeks and then come back. But I had no idea that he was going there for testing. I do feel I deserve compensation because I may have been physically damaged because of being exposed to AIDS, and certainly there's been mental damage, and we do have torts in our law that list those things. So as far as the figure is concerned, that really wasn't my doing. But then I don't know what a life is worth. Is it worth $1? Is it worth $30 billion? And my life to me is invaluable, so I can't really put a price on it.
Now, you obviously loved each other. How do you feel now about Rock Hudson?
Well, I have nothing but good feelings about him as a man. I have mixed emotions about what went on with the AIDS thing, but I try and separate what happened with the man that I loved and the man I lived with. And so when all this passes, it'll be nothing but good feelings, I'm sure.
Before we run out of time back in Los Angeles, Mr. Roden, is there enough money in the Hudson estate to cover a judgment like this?
No, but there's insurance that will cover it.
So the money is there?
Oh, yes, it's there.
Fine. Thank you very much, Harold Roden in Los Angeles.
You're welcome.
Now then, are we influenced by TV commercials? Would something like this make you run out and spend your money? The hottest commercials in the world after this.
There's a world out there waiting to rough you up. Your skin gets rougher as the day goes by. Then it's time for Jergens Extra Dry. Smoothing out the rough spot. Whoa! Smoothing out the rough spot.
Jergens Extra Dry isn't just an ordinary lotion. It's a therapeutic skin conditioning treatment that helps heal the roughest elbows, knees, and heels.
Smoothing out the rough spot. Jergens Extra Dry.
Hi. Is this your sign? It is now. You look wonderful. Did you stop eating? No, I stopped cheating. Accutrim helped.
Accutrim helps control your appetite all day, including the cheating hours, 3 p.m. till bedtime. Accutrim helps you beat the cheating hours.
Jiffy Pop popcorn is fresh popped popcorn. Jiffy Pop popcorn tastes fresh, tastes fluffy, tastes delicious, because the Jiffy Pop popper seals in freshness. Jiffy Pop popcorn is fresh.
General Washington! Supplies are low. Morale is terrible. I don't know how much longer the men can take this ordeal.
Did somebody say deal? Save big now during the Dodge President's Week celebration. And get a sporty Dodge Shadow for under $7,900. Save a bundle on Daytonas and imported Dodge Colts before your best President's Week deal. Hurry, this sale ends February 25th. Wait.
I say we say nothing of this. Deal.
Did somebody say deal? Happy birthday, you big lug.
People are always asking me, what's the secret to a long life? Well, I'll tell you. Never drink, never smoke, and never, ever learn to cook.
You know, everyone tells me what a beautiful car my Toyota Corolla is. True. But I tell them I got my '89 Corolla because I'm completely logical. I look for reliability and quality in a car. But between you and me, I fell in love with my Corolla the first time I laid eyes on it.
My Toyota, I love it. Toyota, could ask for anything more.
Those commercials you just saw were pretty acceptable, right? Well, if A Current Affair was shown in Europe, the past 2 minutes might have been different. As a matter of fact, they might have been a hard act to follow.
I know sex sells.
Indeed it does. America has come a long way with what it will and will not let happen on commercial television.
Some like it hot, but you can't tell how hot till you try.
From family-oriented kitchen and living room scenes, selling everything from soap to soda, Madison Avenue has taken us into a much sexier era of underwear, body perfumes, and jeans that look like they're painted on. Commercials like these for Eastern Airlines, Jovan Musk, and Sun Country Wine Cooler wouldn't have seen the light of day a few years ago. This Burley Bra commercial was rejected by the networks a few years ago and had to be regulated to less sensitive cable stations.
Wow. This soft Italian silk from Burley.
But even the Burley ad pales next to what's happening with the viewer in Europe and Japan. This French Perrier ad doesn't show body parts, and we can't show you the full commercial, but suggestive is too soft a word for it. Then there's this German commercial for Yamaha. It speaks for itself. And if you take a look at this American ad for Travel Fox sneakers, America hasn't become that explicit. However, it could be heading that way. Maybe the body, but not the ad. The Reverend Walker Raleigh, a young, powerful Dallas minister on his way to becoming bishop. Then his world fell apart. 2 years ago, his wife was strangled and left for dead. Today, she barely clings to life. He left her for another woman and was last seen in California with a new mistress, even though a civil suit recently named the Reverend as the one who tried to kill his wife. That's on our next edition of A Current Affair. That's it for today. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, America.
Tomorrow on Good Day New York, Japanese style is becoming New York style. Find out why. Yoko Ono talks about her new art show. Pulitzer Prize winner Frank Gilroy talks about his new movie, The Luckiest Man in the World. Plus Fox News, weather, and traffic for your morning rush on Good Day New York, serving the tri-state area better than anyone.
CBS FM 101, celebrating 17 years as New York's oldies station.
Hi, New York. I have a lot of friends up here at CBS FM. Thanks for listening.
There's only one radio station for me, CBS FM. How about you, Jay?
Listen to that voice, and you could hear it on CBS FM, my favorite radio station.
CBS FM 101.1. We play your favorite oldies.
What I mean.